Yes.
Everybody's sound went complete
It's
shit.
because you're the host.
Okay, then
Yep.
I guess the sound sucks. Right? Okay, welcome everybody, and another great start for our show, the weekly show, the Should We Cover It show, and this is the second part of the OPN Hotlist Part 2 2016 with game giveaways every 10 minutes. Tonight, I'm accompanied by the great, the fantastic, the sarcastic Steven Stanisiewski, my man, the game giveaway giver, Alucarnatas, Paris Forge, Benjamin Kroll, the one and only, my all-time favorite, Caitlin Manka, Eli Ross, AJ Millardy, and the guy you will never see, he has no face, Stylomax, aka Chris Patrica. And we are going to be looking at pretty much the second half of the trailers for... sound is back. Well, that's great. I'm glad to hear. So I'm not talking in the wind for anything. Thank you, Skype. Thank you, Microsoft. We are going to be looking at a series of hot trailers of the games that are coming out in 2016. And because we've got quite a few trailers in front of us, we're going to get started straight up. And we are attacking, I guess, a big category, depending how you look at it. Is everybody ready? Does everybody have their hand in front of the video? You should. And at the count of 3, we're going to start looking at the MMOs coming out in 2016. Everybody get ready. The show is about to begin. Thank you for joining us on Twitch. 1, 2, 3. And Caitlin, obviously, is going to be right over at you.
All right, the first one is Otherland, developed by Drago Entertainment. Otherland is an action-packed MMORPG based on Tad Williams' highly acclaimed novels. Embark on an exciting adventures in a both virtual multiverse with several diverse worlds ranging from fantasy to sci-fi. Built on the Unreal Engine, the Otherland MMO features beautiful graphics, action-based combat with direct controls, PvE and PvP, a rich storyline, and complex RPG character development with 4 classes and numerous skills.
Okay, so last great free-to-play to launch an MMO. Anyone? Anybody? Eli?
Yeah, I mean, the way that they styled it looks pretty cool. I think it'd be interesting to play. I don't know for sure, but I think it'd be worth a shot.
I'm just kind of skeptical to begin with. When the moment you combine the words free-to-play and MMO, I get skeptical. Just because of the cost that's inherent to developing a good MMO makes me think, how can you pull it off with... you'd have to say a lower budget. I mean, if it's free-to-play, unless it's kickstarted, which I doubt, it doesn't look like it.
What most of them do, though, is just the microtransactions. They just load it up with tons of different microtransactions to make up the money. And, you know, a lot of them are crap, but it's worth it to see if it's crap.
You know,
go ahead.
Just looking at the trailer here, these other shots that aren't super stylized and made for the trailer, this kind of looks really generic or not so great. I don't know if anybody else is seeing it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm personally not impressed, and I hate to say it, but I'm not a fan of the Korean style MMO. Or even the Asian style MMO. I'm not a fan of the FF14 MMO personally, and to me that very much captured that style, but at lesser quality. So I'm personally not excited. Go ahead, Steven.
I knew you were waiting for that. Okay, so here's the thing. I actually do like the Asian style, as you put it, MMOs. I still play Guild Wars 2. I still play Guild Wars. Hell, I even like Lineage, if anybody remembers that, or maybe I'm too old. I think this looks generic as hell, is the problem, though.
Guild Wars is not an Asian style MMO.
It is. It was a cross, but yeah.
It's a cross, and it feels Americanized to me.
But the long and short, though, is that it's 2016. Come on, we don't need more MMOs. We've got enough.
We gotta move on, guys.
Another MMO feels like a time sink and a waste.
How can you say that, especially considering the very next MMO that just popped up on the stream, and Caitlin right over at you, and you've got some nice things to say, I imagine, about this one, Steven. But
so
Caitlin,
do I.
Yeah, I know.
It's called Crowfall, developed by Artcraft. Allies, enemies, empires, betrayal, risk, conquest. Crowfall is a player versus player focused sandbox MMORPG with important choices and consequences. described by its developers as Game of Thrones meets EVE Online and Throne War Simulator.
I gotta start with Steven, just because of the history Steven has with Craftfall, and now comes the time where you're no longer bullshitting us, and you actually tell us what you really think about this game, Steven.
Man, as cynical as I am, as hateful as I am, there is nothing I can say negative about this game. The very fact that it essentially has permadeath, and on top of that, the fact that at the end of every
this
season,
from the guy who just say why the fuck we need an MMO.
Here's the thing. It's not technically an MMO. The idea is in an MMO, everything is persistent. This resets every season, so it's almost like an episodic gameplay element involved. And just to plug it, we did do an interview with these guys about, 3 months ago, 4 months ago? We had an interview with the Crowfall guys. My God, they were absolutely wonderful. The pedigrees are Star Wars Galaxies and Wizard 101, so take that with a grain of salt. But the fact is,
I played Wizard 101.
This, to me, is probably going to be the thing that gives a shot in the arm to the MMO genre.
You ate the game away. You ate the game away. I was looking forward to additional comments.
And
but the next trailer...
Full disclosure, I actually did pay to get into the beta, so
I'm excited
too.
I'm excited too. The next trailer is the big one. I mean, I guess you can say it's at the end of the day, it's an expansion pack. World of Warcraft Legion from Blizzard. Caitlin, right over at you.
Kingdoms will burn. The Tomb of Sargeras has been reopened, and the demons of the Burgeoning Legion pour into our world. Their full, terrifying might is fixed on summoning the Dark Titan to Azeroth, and they've already located the key to his return. Steel yourself. Champion extinction is imminent.
No, I'm not going to start with you, Steven. I'm actually going to start with... who's a big MMO fan here? Well, Benjamin.
Right.
Benjamin plays it all. Benjamin?
No, 5 years ago, maybe. I've done. Never again.
Done?
Until
Done?
Star Citizen. Until Star Citizen.
Okay,
Done.
it's coming. And I'm actually going to pull you into this one, Stylomax, so be on your toes. AJ, anything on WoW?
I used to play WoW back in the day, but it kind of lost steam for me, and each expansion pack just is kind of like, all right, you can level more, there's more instances or whatever you could do to grab more gear. At this point, it's just... I don't know. It's like we've already seen it all. They're just adding more to an overflowing pot, I feel like.
The big question to me, I feel like you're kind of capturing what everybody thinks, but the big question is, do you think Blizzard feels that way about its beloved title?
I mean, there's still a decent amount of people that subscribe and play WoW, so, I mean, to appease those people, like, why not? So, as long as they still have paying customers from their
you're
point
saying
of view,
they,
like,
they
why
do
not?
feel that way, but as long as...
But for someone to get back into WoW, or for someone new to go back into WoW, like, I don't know. But, I mean, if you're already playing and you still want to play... Why not?
It's so sad that, for me, what's really sad is that I agree with everybody who basically thinks the same thing, and yet, when I see that cinematic trailer, it tickles me. Like, there's something that
so
tickles
good
me.
at those trailers, though.
Yeah, they're amazing, man. They're amazing. I just want to go, like, it's $40. Come on. And then, boom, I get pulled in, and I waste my life for 2 months straight. Caitlin.
Oh yeah, it's for me. It's just that cinematic trailer, getting to see the hot human king. I'm good.
Oh, Caitlin, the boyfriend is watching.
His son is better though. I love the quest in one of them where you could just hang out with his son and do quests with him. That was great.
Benjamin.
Yeah, I'll just say I haven't played in a long time, but I have friends who still play a lot, and what they all say about what Blizzard does is they understand they can't really draw in any new customers. They're well past that point. Their entire model is all about pleasing their fan base. And the last expansion, all of my friends said that they thought it was, whether or not the content was great, what they added in terms of new stuff for players was good. They loved it. Like, if you want to make a new character, you don't have to level the whole thing. You can just buy it.
Yeah, it's smart move. It's
pleasing their player base is their new model, and you probably can expect more good things if you're a fan. If you're thinking about going back into it, I think it'll be easier. If you've never played it, it's probably just too late. Don't do it.
Steven,
Save yourself.
closing thoughts, Steven.
Very,
Closing thoughts.
very quick. Legion, it's the best name they could have given it. Legion for We Are Many. The fact is, the subscribers, however, are not. They're hemorrhaging subscribers. The fact is, WoW is past its prime. And the biggest hint was that Activision bought Major League Gaming. They know that the writing is on the wall for this game. They know that people are leaving in droves. They'll come back for the expansion. They'll leave as soon as they're done with the content. The funny part is most of the WoW subscribers will power through it in a night, and then they'll be done with it, and then they'll never come back again. I think WoW is
you
it's
have
time
to stop.
put it
Everybody,
down.
press pause, Dido. Press pause. We will not let Steven eat away this game. And actually, before we get into this
Good
game,
call.
we're gonna stop, and we're gonna do
El giveaway.
El giveaway.
El giveaway.
Give a wayo.
Stylo, run that.
Hey, thanks for tuning into chat, everyone. And giveaway is right now for your chance to win some hot games. And by the way, Eli, thanks Eli, generously donated a couple copies of Tomb Raider right before it comes out. Not the one that's coming out, but the original one. I mean, not the reboot one. I don't know how to call that game. The 2013 one, which I just played, I just finished, and I absolutely loved it. Who's the lucky winner? Black Pete won. Black Pete won. And if you didn't know, Black Pete is actually Paris.
Ah, damn it.
True fact.
Yeah, I won stuff again.
I'm glad that we're giving away to pirates now, because Black Pete's a perfect pirate name.
All right, so were we doing a random game on this one, or was it the Tomb Raider game?
No. Tomb Raider comes at the end. The peeps in the chat actually have to stick around and bear Steven's comment for at least an hour before we start dropping those ones. But thanks, guys, for tuning to chat. We will interact with the chat, and I please everybody really make an effort. This is a community first and foremost. We are moving on to the very next game. One that we've got tons of people in the community just hot flashing on this thing. And yeah. Let's go. Everybody press play.
All right, this next one is Star Citizen. Developed by Cloud Imperium Games, Star Citizen will consist of two main components: first-person space combat and trading in on MMO-style persistent universe and modifiable, optionally cooperative private servers, including a branching single-player campaign known as Squadron 42.
All right, I'm just going to pass the microphone to Eli, and then I want to get Stylo's thoughts, even if I need to pause that trailer.
Okay, so I have already started playing this game in alpha. It's definitely a gorgeous game, and they've done some incredible stuff with it already. I'm really looking forward to what they're going to do with the rest of it. I'm just really hoping that they don't burn through all their money.
And that the money is well spent, honestly. Stylo, you probably are the biggest fan up to this date of this game. Are you expecting a revolution in the MMO universe? And
I'm not so sure about the MMO universe having a revolution. They are going for a dynamic quest-based system. They are trying some new things. Whether or not they'll be revolutionary or not, hard to say since I haven't played with them yet, since they haven't implemented them yet. There's a lot of promise. I don't expect it to be a revolution in MMO. They're trying to bring space sims back, and that's the whole reason I backed this game way back when they first started funding for it. I also backed it for the single-player aspect, which they have put a lot of work into and may well release sometime late this year or early next year. So there's a lot to look forward to with this game.
And do you think it's finally the game that's going to take the EVE Online crowd out of EVE Online?
It kind of depends. For the ones that really want to fly their ships, have more control over combat, yes. For the tacticians, possibly not so much, because there are those folks that are more into the tactical gameplay of EVE Online than they are trying to pilot the ship. So it's kind of there's a couple of audiences within EVE Online. It will definitely take some EVE Online players out from that game, though.
Paris, I saw you nodding. Fred, you don't know the fuck you're saying.
Oh no, no.
No, please.
I shook my head because no, it will take some EVE Online players, but like EVE Online has already sort of developed its own society within itself that's so tight knit and like densely packed that like percentage wise, only a few people are just gonna migrate. The rest are just they've already committed too much. They're gonna stick with EVE.
You think so? So
I
you're
think so,
basically
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about this loyalty that the player
There
base feels
is
towards.
I'm gonna pause this because I'm gonna
Pause it.
But just as a little bit of background, I'm also an EVE Online player. I have played the game since 2005, so I've been playing the game for close to 11 years at this point. I am a member of one of the larger block alliances, no, not Goonswarm. But I,
Bless you.
I'm part of a corporation that was
Is it legal?
around since the beta of the game. So when it comes to, I know some of the very, very old school folks that are behind EVE Online. I'm not going to say they're all going to switch. However, I do personally know several of them that have invested as much as $2,000 to $3,000 alone, by themselves into Star Citizen.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's one ship.
Oh no!
Not
That'll buy you a few ships.
There's
But-
people who've spent way more than that too.
Well, yeah. There's a article about one person that spent $35,000. So
Okay, we gotta keep the ball rolling.
so we'll keep the
fact
ball
is,
rolling, but yes, it will take some players out. I'm not gonna say the whole
It
population.
would be great.
will
I
leave.
tell you that much. It would be great to have a show exclusively dedicated to the development of Star Citizen in 2016. We're gonna set that up. Okay.
Yeah,
Now,
let's do
Steven, I'm gonna bypass you. Steven, I'm gonna bypass
But I have
you.
to apologize briefly. I thought that Star Citizen was going to be vaporware, and I ripped on it for about a year and a half, and
You're
I have
such
to
a-
apologize.
Eat those words. Eat them.
I have to apologize because the fact of the matter is, the more I see about Star Citizen, the more I actually feel that Chris Roberts has finally pulled his head out of his
Come on. This is good
and
stuff.
he's
I'm
actually
excited.
going to make it happen.
Alright,
I really genuinely think it's going to happen.
Alright, everybody press play on the trailers. We are moving forward. We will not stop trailers anymore. So when this thing is gone, and the next game is Skyforge. Caitlin.
Developed by Alub's team and Obsidian Entertainment in Skyforge, you will walk the path from an immortal warrior to a mighty god, gaining followers as you fight to protect your world. Your loyal followers will help you increase your power as you rise to become an elder god. The best of the best will join the Order of Keepers and shape the fate of the world.
This doesn't tell me much, though. I hate those descriptions that really don't tell me much. It's nice. It looks beautiful. Yeah, I don't know. No, it doesn't look. I don't know. I have no comments, actually.
It's Obsidian.
Anybody?
The story's going to be awesome.
Is
Yes. Yes,
Alright.
the Obsidian makes terrible, buggy as shit games. But if there's one thing that they're fantastic at, it's making a good, cohesive, wonderful story. So for me personally, the game could be a total wreck graphically, but it's going to be probably one of the best story-based games that comes out in the next couple of years.
Well, DJ Sketch is saying Skyforge had hype for like a week, then it died.
Yeah, there's that problem too. There's just too much crap coming out, and it's hard for people to get really invested in stuff like that.
Are we still in front of it right now? I believe we are, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me, I mean, it looks just like the same old stuff, honestly. It looks like the very first trailer we were watching, actually.
And yes, that was a Gundam in Skyforge, so...
And you know what's funny is actually last week when we were watching all these trailers, I closed the show feeling that way. Like, God, we just saw a ton of the same game. And then as I was putting together the spreadsheet
it's all
for...
down to what sells.
Yeah, but then I started looking at the indie scene just for this week's game list to review, and I realized, man, thank God for the indie scene for kind of diversifying what's coming out, because it's not even games I would play, but they bring so much. I think we're on to the next one. The next one is Camelot Unchained. Camelot Unchained, Caitlin.
Developed by City State Entertainment. This is your story. This is the story of how you choose one of the realms and carved your name into the blood of your enemies. This is the story of how you became a legend. Whether you choose the noble Arthurians, the mysterious Trois de Danann, or the fierce Vikings, every battle changes you. Every building changes your world. Every adventure becomes a part of the story.
Okay, yeah, but yeah, it's beautiful. It looks very artsy. I definitely like the graphics, but also that trailer doesn't tell me anything. Does this have any type? Can anybody give us some facts on the studio, the studio background? Unless we're moving already, if somebody can give us a quick Google search right there. And in the meantime, I'm gonna call on somebody who's gonna say something educated about this. Paris.
I'm out.
Okay. Well, I am extremely disappointed that Abraham Lincoln wasn't playable as advertised, as like for a brief moment. But no, the trailer doesn't tell me anything. But I do like historical games, Total War and all that. I'm not sure if it's anything like that, if it's gonna be, or how you're gonna play the stories on that. But
But yeah,
no,
to find
yeah, I
out,
got no.
Pathfinder Online, Caitlin.
Developed by Goblin Works, Pathfinder Online is a fantasy sandbox MMO with open-world PvP based on the Pathfinder intellectual property used with a license from Paizo Incorporated. Each character in Pathfinder Online is the sum of its experiences in-game. All the characters start from the same baseline, and then over time they change as they accomplish mighty deeds and interact with one another.
I don't know. They all seem to embrace this model of it's your story and you shape the character that you want to shape. I don't find that all that sexy personally. Caitlin.
I happen to know a little bit about this game. Pathfinder is actually very much like D&D. It is a role-playing game with a universe called Galarian, and it's this would probably be a little bit like Dungeons and Dragons Online because it's basically D&D 3.75. It's Dungeons and Dragons, but not owned by Wizards of the Coast. So I've been seeing that this game was in development for years. I thought it was never going to come. I might play it.
Well, we've got another comparison, which is from Dirty Plunger, who says, "Is this wow?" Steven.
It's really, really close. To answer Dirty Plunger real quick, essentially, the truth of the matter is any MMO has basically cribbed all of their crap from D&D, from tabletop gaming. And as I think one of like 6 people on staff that actually do tabletop gaming, the long and short is that basically Pathfinder is D&D light when everybody was pissed off by the rule changes and the rule set changes from 3.5 to 5 or whatever it is that people ignore. The fact of the matter is I'm kind of surprised that Pathfinder even has its own game because that's legitimately wow.
Okay, well, we're moving on to Nebula Online, and I sure am happy that we didn't slap it on the back of Star Citizen. Nebula Online, Caitlin.
Developed by Mizar Games and Komar Games, Nebula Online is one of the first truly cross-platform, massively multiplayer online games for Windows, Mac, Linux, iOS, Android, Windows Phone, and Facebook.
Thank
you can play simultaneously with other players.
Sorry. And moving on to the last one, it's actually kind of it was quick, but it's kind of a long trailer for the last one, and it's because it's got that Kickstarter video. Look at the developers talk about the game at the same time. It's called Das Tal, and I can't help but feel like we've already talked about this game in some shape or form during one of the weekly shows. Doesn't look very impressive to me visually.
As a matter of fact.
But yeah, Steven, go. Let yourself go.
So I have to interject on this one. Das Tal is a game that I interacted with the developer directly on,
and Steven broke down.
But yeah, it's basically League of Legends with an MMO slant. That's pretty much all it is. So there you go.
So you're not excited? The guy looks very fresh. Steven, you're breaking down. You may want to restart your thing. Yeah, I've.
And frozen.
I think you can come back. You can make a comeback. AJ, you've got something on Das Tal?
What was that?
You've got anything to add on Das Tal?
I mean, it didn't look anything special. Kind of looked like a stripped down version of those previous ones we saw. I mean, it was a different take on artwork, but I mean, when you're competing with stuff like that, I don't really have that much motivation to play. So
I love Skype. I really do.
You should. There's some. I mean, They seem to
I
have
really
nice
love
offices, so they must have the funding. There must be either some history to the studio or some people who are excited about this game. It's Kickstarter again?
Yeah. So, Fred, did you hear anything that I said, or just part of it?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just curious.
You're crackly.
Yeah, you're crackling.
Okay. Am I still kind of correctly? Okay. Can you at least kind of make out English
Yeah,
words
we're coming
that I'm
back.
saying? Because
We're
I
coming
can
back.
explain that. Okay. So Das Tal is basically an MMO crossed with LOL. That's legitimately the entire idea. We actually had the intention of interviewing these fellas back when they did their first Kickstarter. They failed miserably, but they went back to Kickstarter again. And so it's interesting, I think is the nicest way to put it. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I want to see what they can do with it, personally.
Then let's take this very long trailer to do the
It is a long ass trailer.
We
Isn't it?
cannot hear you, Alucard, but it's a giveaway time.
It doesn't matter. He's got the shredder hat on, so it's okay.
We cannot hear you, Alucard.
Yeah, you're silent.
I fucking hate Skype.
Seriously, it's awful.
Still can't hear you, Alucard.
No, nothing. We just have to deal with it.
You are mute.
Can we just let him do his thing?
Yeah, just let him keep talking like that where no one can hear.
He's been so insightful tonight.
I know, right?
I'm kind of fed up.
This is the best he's ever sounded.
Seriously.
What do you guys feel on the side note? I think it's almost over. What do you guys feel on the side note of this new trend of that kind of comes with the Kickstarter thing of like doing a video in which the developer talks to you? To me, it's extremely tacky.
I actually prefer that.
Yeah,
You
well,
like
I mean,
it?
it's
I
kind
do
of
like
actually-
tacky.
No,
It's
it's like a
tacky, no?
business
I kinda prefer that
presentation,
because
though.
then I
Because
can-
like if you're in a business meeting, they give you like the PowerPoint. They say, "All right, here's our goals and objectives. Here's what we need to get to these goals and objectives, but we need your help. In return, you will get this." That's kind of how they're approaching it. You're like you're in a conference room, you know. It's
God, but it
it's
feels like I'm walking
I
in an
gotta
Apple
agree.
store.
Yeah, but if I'm a
no,
Kickstarter
no.
investor,
Here's
I
the
want
thing.
to give some money. I want to see who I'm giving the money to. I want to feel confident. Like you're investing in the company. You're not just buying their product.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The problem with Kickstarter is that most people think it's like a pre-order. It's not. It's investing. It's investing light.
But I feel like
if
it's
you're
part of
afraid
the
doing
game.
S&P 500,
I feel like
Yeah,
it's
kinda,
part. It's
sorta.
I feel like it's kind of duping you into sending them money because they're like, oh, they're cool, they're clean, they're very Apple-like, they've got like good lighting, and the focus suddenly is away from what you're actually spending money on, which is the game itself. So
That's not even good lighting. That's shitty lighting.
yeah, it's
Hey,
like I don't want my
might
money
be-
to go into
I
their
might be a little
camera.
biased. I might be a little biased, but I got a chance to talk to the dev a little bit in an email exchange. He's a cool guy.
Oh, I'm
And
sure.
honestly,
I'm sure.
from what little I've seen, but a cool guy does not make a good game. But from what little I've seen, I was more than happy to back it. I would love to see this hit the market. I would love to see what he can do with it. And I'm not just saying that because we're trying to line up an interview.
Yeah.
But the long and short is, I think it would invigorate the market where LOL and Dota have pretty much taken over.
All right.
Just
we're
to
moving
have
on.
another player would be a good idea.
We're moving on to the next section. Is everybody's kind of at the same spot as I am? We're moving into the strategy and simulations. I'm hoping for some good ones because I'm getting more and more into simulations this year. I don't know why. I think it must be old age. So the first game that we're looking at is Offworld Trading Company.
Are
Offworld.
we supposed to do a giveaway?
Oh, whoa. Thank you for
Giveaway.
reminding me. Everybody pause. And it's a giveaway time. Alucard.
Shredder, go.
God, he's on fire tonight.
It's the most eloquent he's ever been.
It's really, he really is. The ladies love him. He has no last name.
You should just give him a whiteboard so he can
Please.
just write stuff.
But he's the son of Dracula. He doesn't need to have a last name.
It's that strong but silent thing.
My boss at the office actually came to see me the other day and said, Fred, I was watching one of your videos. Like, okay, I'm about to
You're
get...
fired, Fred.
say, "Who's that guy with the dreadlocks?" And I say, "What? We don't have anyone with dread." He was referring to that
You have
part.
somebody
Oh,
with
that.
dreadlocks?
I was like, "Oh, Alucard." No, that's just his mask. Ah, he won.
I just want to find out
Congratulations!
who
Look
has
at
the
that
dreadlocks.
smile on his face. Well, this is bullshit.
Should we reload
Yeah,
that?
we're not giving him. And his microphone ain't even working.
Oh yeah. If he's not
Head
gonna
of-
talk, he doesn't deserve anything.
Head of communication and his microphone ain't working.
I feel like this has a correlation to a Trump presidency campaign.
It really does. Some people.
Alucard's the only reason we have people show up on this freaking show. That's the fun part.
Oh yeah. You really are pushing the political talk tonight, Stephen. So during the giveaway, vote if you're for Donald Trump. Raise your hand if you're for Donald Trump.
Oh no.
Oh, we lost
I
him.
don't think anybody's gonna raise their hand.
I
As
think
a
you might.
troll, I can't even raise my hand.
Wow. Alright, what? No, give it to him. He's donating Tomb Raider. I feel like he more than deserve it. All right, guys,
What am I
let's.
getting then?
You'll see.
I'm so glad that we don't have any problems with, issues giving games to the people that are on the chat giving games.
And Skype has been great to us tonight. Let's move
Fuck
on
Skype.
to the next game. So again, guys, back into strategy and sims. We are now looking at the next game, Offworld Trading Company. Offworld Trading Company. Moving on. Vamonos.
Developed by Mohawk Games, Offworld Trading Company. Rekindle humanity's adventurous spirit by leaving the tired Earth to find new fortunes in the untapped resources of Mars in Offworld Trading Company, the economic real-time strategy game from Civilization 4 designer Soren Johnson.
Okay, so I love it when somebody from a big game leaves for some unknown reason, and then does his own thing.
Sound like you're about to say some shit reason.
No, I'm not. I have no idea why the guy left.
Watch your friggin' language on this channel. We got kids watching.
I do
Oh,
feel
right,
like Civilization 5
don't.
Beyond Earth was kind of a letdown from a creative standpoint. This definitely a series that kind of fails to innovate, I feel, except put you on a different map that could have been a DLC, not a whole new game. But this is not a conversation about Civilization. It's about, oh, here he goes again, the developer who talks to you on cam. Hi. Does anybody want to add some thoughts on Offworld Trading Company? Any interest in playing this? Anyone going once outside of Steven? Going Benjamin?
No, I haven't heard of this. I'm just seeing it for the first time.
That's
Yeah.
a good
Can
sign.
you hear me?
Definitely
Yes.
smaller. See, I cannot hear what the guy is saying on the camera right now, so I'm wondering if he's not talking shit about Civilization. But they never are. Anybody a Civilization fan? Maybe let's start with that.
Yeah.
Because I guess the introduction doesn't say I am, but I kind of am. I definitely have enjoyed Civilization since I'm a kid. Benjamin, what do you think of Let's make this a conversation about
Yeah,
Civilization.
sure. I also played Civilization for a while. I've played almost every Civilization since they started, and then, different times I've played more and more. And just from the little bio here, yeah, if this guy was involved in the design of Civilization, that's probably a good sign as far as strategy games.
You think? What did you think of Beyond Earth?
I thought it was oversaid how bad it was. It wasn't great, but people talked about it like it was just completely trash. And maybe it's just because I have a soft spot for space games, which, Star Citizen and Stellaris and all these games, I like space games, so maybe I kind of liked it. It was definitely dumbed down Civ 5 though.
Right? That I felt that way too, actually. Go, Steven, go.
I'm not much of a Civilization player, not since Sid Meier's name was actually attached to it. Now it's just kind of a brand. But this might be the kind of game that would get me back into it. I just kind of like the feel of it.
I wish Chris was here, but he said something on the channel. Space games equal automatically good. And by the way, this looks like a lot like the one of the last games you reviewed and you thought of when you went to see The Martian, which is a bad movie, and I do not like Matt Damon. I just went on record. The next game is Roller Coaster Tycoon World. Roller Coaster Tycoon World, Caitlin.
By Envizio Creations, Roller Coaster Tycoon World is the newest installment in the legendary RCT franchise. This next-generation theme park simulation and building game includes fan-favorite features as well as incredible new advancements.
Okay, I think we talked about this too one time, and we totally downed it as we were not nice to the studios who are making this remake of, I guess you can call it a remake, of the original that had us also charmed when we were kids. This is a game that goes way back in history, by the way. And it's already over, Steven?
This, first off, here's the big disclaimer. This is not
It's
being
coming
done.
in 2011.
This is that seems wrong.
That's totally right. It's just been pushed back a bit. This is not done by the same developers that did Roller Coaster Tycoon. So pretty much this is nothing more than a pathetic cash grab. And I can say that as somebody that was a fan of the original.
We don't know. I feel like we're being too harsh on it. It might be good. Factorio. We're focusing on Factorio. Caitlin.
All right, developed by Woob Software, Factorio is a game in which you build and maintain factories. You'll be mining resources, researching technologies, building infrastructure, automating production, and fighting enemies.
Hey, Chris is actually backing you up. But these little indie games, that's what I mean by indie bringing fresh stuff. It's not pretty. I probably will not play it. But, you know, it's got something. Like, this guy, like, really thought this out. And gameplay-wise, it looks fun. It looks mechanically... I don't know. There's fresh ideas here. Anybody? Paris. I'm going to call you out. Paris. You would try this, and you would probably review it. Is Paris?
Okay.
I think you gave up.
He's here.
The trailer. What, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, kind of. Not
You guys hear me?
not all that great, but kind of.
Skype's awesome.
Yeah. Go ahead.
That's strange. Okay, so yeah, I was saying the trailer.
No good. No
because
bueno.
it looks just sort of, I don't know, a cookie cutter or something.
We're gonna give you a couple minutes, Paris, for you to come back because this is no bueno. Caitlin, would you try this out?
You know, I might. I'm not really a strategy game person, but it does look interesting. I mean, there are monsters trying to sack my factories. That definitely would be bad for production, don't you think?
Yeah, I'm wondering.
That looks fun.
Did they just use a train to kill the monsters?
Yes.
I think they did. Well, why not?
I mean, geez, man. Wouldn't the train derail?
We're moving away from Factorio and into the angels with scaly wings. The angels with scaly wings. Now, this is very, very cartoony-like, and we're going to get a fine and fancy introduction from the great, the wonderful, the pillar of our community, Caitlin Manka.
All right. This is developed by MB Saunders, and a mysterious portal is discovered, and you, the player, are selected as one of the few humans to travel to the world of dragons. While you serve as an ambassador, you may learn more about the strangely familiar place and discover that your human colleague knows more than he's letting on. It may be up to you and your friends to uncover the conspiracy that threatens the newly discovered world.
So here's the big question, and Rek, I'm going to ask it to you. How come I see, because I'm the one selecting the games every week for reviews, how come I see tons and tons and tons of visual novels, and I have yet to meet one PC gamer who says, yeah, I freaking love visual novels. Like, I have never met a single gamer who endorses visual novels, and there's tons of them. Eli.
A lot of them won't admit it, for one thing. Also, visual novel games are easy and quick to churn out. But I just wanted to say, really quick in there, that looks like a dinosaur version of Hatoful Boyfriend.
Okay, and I think that's all. I think that's all we'll have the time for, especially because the next game. I'm sorry, Steven. The next game is definitely something we want to talk about.
That's who will buy that.
Ashes of the Singularity, a game that's been, I think, a long time in development. One I am excited about when it comes to simulation. Caitlin.
All right, developed by Oxide Games and Entertainment take command of the resources of an entire world to build up massive armies, research new technologies, and annihilate all those who stand in your way in this new, massive-scale, real-time strategy game, now in early access.
Is anybody else excited about this game?
Yeah.
Well, it's trailers over on my
Wow.
end, so wow.
That's
Nope.
for nobody.
There's been some hype about it. I don't think I'm the only one, but the next game is really questionable because it's not the first time I see this type of trailers. I actually think somebody tried to review a game that was very much like it. It's called Cook, Serve, Delicious 2. Because it's the second one. It's actually the second one.
There was a
Caitlin,
first?
All right, it's developed by Vertigo Gaming Incorporated. Just then, a swarm of police surround Sherry Soda Tower. It seems the Sherry Soda head executives were secretly stealing funds from the company at the same time as they were incurring a staggering amount of debt, draining the accounts of the tower and several of the business inside it, including CST. Just like that, the tower was closed and put up for a federal auction, including everyone inside of it. It was all over. The Cook Served Delicious restaurant was no more. Angry but determined to rebuild, you've scrounged up all of your personal life savings and bought commercial space inside the Tarragon Super Tower.
oh my
the
god,
largest
it's a
skyscraper
visual
in the
novel
city.
of its own. Alright, man, that was great.
Too much.
For Cook, Serve, Delicious 2, it's over. If you're hungry, buy the game or eat some food. The next game is Endless Space 2. Endless Space 2, Caitlin, right over at you.
Developed by Amplitude Studios. The sequel to the two-time Unity award-winning Endless Space. Endless Space 2 is a turn-based 4x space strategy by Amplitude Studios that launches players into the space colonization age of different civilizations within the Endless universe.
Guys, a lot of space games. No, it's not.
Space! It's easy.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
easy to do.
it's so
Indies
many.
love space.
Yeah, I guess so. Ben,
Yeah, so I'm going to take the chance now, since this is
It's true.
exactly the game that I wanted to talk about before, similar type. 4X games are cool. Anybody who's got a thing for board games knows exactly what a 4X game is. If you don't, you can Google it real quick. But
yeah,
Endless Space 2 seems to me like it's between this and Stellaris as far as the 4X space games are going to go this year. My money's on Stellaris. I just trust Paradox so much more with Grand Strategy. So it's just... they both seem so similar with the... it's a 4X game, so all 4X games are fairly similar in their design. But anybody else know that game or seen it?
I think we have to move on, and I apologize for not putting Solaris again on the list of traders, but we'll fix it next week, Benjamin. We'll do a special exclusive. No, we'll do part 3. I feel bad. Okay, the next game needs no introduction. I'm gonna just ask AJ Millardy to bash it. But wow, come on, Caitlin, give us a couple words about Halo Wars 2.
Halo Wars 2 is developed by 343 Industries and Creative Assembly. It's an exciting new strategy game, paced with fast-paced action, massive battles, and all-new Halo story. More Halo.
AJ?
Yay.
Well, the first Halo Wars kind of was a dud, so I'm surprised they made a second one. Granted, it took a little bit, but I don't know.
I told you he'd bash it.
Well, I mean, their track record, it's like Halo's just been getting watered down, everything. And like I said, the first Halo Wars was just really disappointing, so I'm not sure why they decided to make a second one. I mean, there's a lot of room for improvement, so there's that. They could do that.
And if I can be a total jerk, Halo hasn't impressed us in a while. When's the last time Sega impressed us?
Sonic Adventure for the Dreamcast.
Oh, wow. We gotta move on. No, this is too hot
I
not to
actually
speak
have that
about.
right over there.
Total War
Oh.
Warhammer. Now, talk about hype. I don't think I've seen that many articles for so long. It's just so much hype about this game. Caitlin.
Developed by Creative Assembly, the old world echoes to the clamor of ceaseless battle. The only constant is war. A fantasy strategy game of legendary proportions, Total War Warhammer combines an addictive turn-based campaign of epic empire building with explosive, colossal, real-time battles, all set in the vivid and incredible world of Warhammer fantasy battles.
Comments, questions, concerns? This is, again, the type of trailers that tells us nothing about the game except that They know what they're doing visually when it comes to whatever that's.
It's a shame. There is gameplay footage out there, so you can see it
There
in
is.
its glory.
So what's it like, Benjamin?
Well, anybody who's played anything by Creative Assembly in the Total War genre already knows what it's like because they're all pretty similar.
Sure.
But they're all awesome. Well, all right, they've had their issues at times, but if you like the game, then you know what you're getting. And I'm one of the few people who tabletop games that actually played the real Warhammer and not just 40K, actually Warhammer. So I'm excited. I'm apprehensive, as all Warhammer fans are when they see a Warhammer game come out. But
so actually, let me interrupt you.
awesome.
Let me interrupt you and ask you, how do you respond to DJ Sketch's comment in a channel? Meh, it's Warhammer, not meant for video games, honestly.
I think this is the kind of game that can get the gameplay pretty decent. Warhammer's a tactical game. You can simulate it just fine on a PC. It's just not done well because they're not focusing on the right parts.
Eli?
Okay, not a comment on this specific game, but I just wanted to reiterate, how many Warhammer games do we need every year?
You gave us that comment last week. Steven?
Multiple times.
I have to agree with both of them. The fact of the matter is, Warhammer is best done on a friggin' tabletop. Don't make it a digital thing. I felt the same way about Blood Bowl. It's best on a tabletop. Don't try and digitize it. It waters down the enjoyment. There's nothing more enjoyable than playing Warhammer with a bunch of people, as opposed to playing it with an AI, or playing it even multiplayer. I am hesitant. I'm cautiously optimistic, but we don't need a Warhammer every couple of years.
Every couple months.
Every couple of months, even, yeah. Blizzard is the only company that's done worse with releasing expansions. So,
you think it's gonna sell?
Probably, because we're friggin' suckers. Because it's Warhammer, and Warhammer's awesome. But it's still not going to be as great. So it'll piss everybody off on Steam, which will be fun.
Anybody who plays Warhammer is going to want to play it just to be able to see like some massive spell blow up, 400 guys, because you can't really see it when you play the tabletop game. We'll probably get bored and go back to the tabletop game because it's better, but yeah, it'll be fun to try out.
Okay, well, I think that settles it on Total War Warhammer. I wish Chris would have been here because he wrote one of the first OPN reviews ever, and he was on Total War Attila. Okay, the next game, Worms.
Giveaways.
Oh, whoa, everybody press pause, and thank you to Rim for reminding us. El Alucard, El giveaway is coming right up. Stylomax, please launch it. El giveaway, thanks for tuning in on twitch.tv/opnoobsonline. We're doing it especially on Thursday night. This week only. We're normally on the channel every Tuesday night at 9:30 p.m. US Eastern Time. Our weekly show supposedly lasts about an hour, except because of those 2016 games and the awards from 2015, which are posted on the website opnoobs.com. You'll see that we kind of keep them long until the end of January. Mash Grumbles, congratulations. Right. What is he winning, Mash Grumbles? El Alucardo. El Alucardo, if we can see you, if we can hear you, how come we cannot see you?
Because we can't hear him or see him either.
Yes,
and no one asked name.
I hate you guys.
Well, sorry, Shredder. I mean, we can't do anything with you right now.
Shredder. All right, so it's a random key, and I'm gonna whisper it to you. So, congratulations.
All right, and we're gonna go on. It's 10:30 right now. We technically started at 9:30. We're gonna go on until 11:10. So we'll be going for another 40 minutes with Rise of the Tomb Raider being delivered towards the end of the show. So stay tuned. Thanks No. I said Rise of the Tomb Raider. It's not Rise of the Tomb Raider. Yeah. It's Tomb Raider, just the 2013 reboot.
We've also got those 3 other Tomb Raider games that we can throw out there.
There's a lot of Tomb Raider.
We're just gonna give a lot of Lara. We're gonna give a lot of Lara.
We're just gonna give away an original PlayStation with the Tomb Raider game.
And by the way, Caitlin earmuffs, but Lara is getting hotter every year. I'm just so excited. I'm just so excited to see the new one.
Wow, great. We're going to have all of Tumblr hating us now. Thanks, Fred.
We're gonna do a lot of climbing. I tell you that much. Let's move on to worm mass destruction. Everybody press play.
It's worms. Who cares? It's awesome.
Not all the time.
Always.
Caitlin.
All
We
right,
lost it.
so
Oh, there you go.
Worms WMD was developed by Team 17 and features a fresh, brand new look at 2D cartoon-inspired worm, as well as the gorgeous hand-drawn landscapes. For the first time ever, players will be able to use exciting new vehicles and even enter buildings, which will add new strategic elements of gameplay to the traditional wormy warfare.
Okay, and yet another Worms game. Probably a lot of fun, actually. This looks good. At least it looks polished. Steven, quickly.
Very quickly, Worms is always fun. I don't think I've ever played a really bad Worms game. I do actually like, as small as it seems, I do like the fact that you can go into buildings now. That's going to throw a lot of new strategies
Yeah.
my way.
Dynamics, yeah. All right, I think this is a game that we have to introduce properly because we started AAA Anonymous, our new Sunday show with Fallout. That didn't really follow through because I feel like a lot of the people on the staff were kind of disappointed. But we are going to pick that show right back up starting, I think, when the game comes out, maybe in 2-3 weeks now. XCOM 2 will be covering it extensively every Sunday night, AAA Anonymous, hosted by the great Steven Stanisiewski, so I'll be shutting up a lot more. So please join us on that show. Lots of giveaways as well. Who else is excited about XCOM 2? I think we can skip introductions. Benjamin definitely is, and Benjamin, please.
Yeah, I'm super excited for it. A couple weeks away. Look for my review when we get it. But once the NDA was lifted and we got to see the actual footage, any worries I had and hearing what people had to say, I'm pretty hyped up, and I think it's going to live up to it for the most part. It seems like they went the route of just taking what the game was before and just fixing some of the stuff that we hated and making it better. Namely,
So let me ask
they
you
changed the start where you start in concealment and you get to actually move at more than like a snail's pace if you don't want to die.
So I've played the first. I've invested, I think, 2-3 hours in that game, and 2-3 hours obviously were not enough to tell me why this game is good. Why is this game good, Benjamin?
Do you like tactics games? Do you like hard strategy, things like that?
I told you I'm getting old. Yes.
Yeah, then you should like it if you give it a shot because
It's turn-based.
It's just turn-based tactical strategy. Tabletop fans like me and Steven, and I don't remember if anybody else was there, we love this game because these kinds of tactics is the best simulation of tabletop games that we've gotten.
Anybody else other than Steven completely hyped up about this? Caitlin, we can see you, so scream if you are.
She's really hyped.
Nah,
She's
not my
better
thing.
gamer.
I think we moved already. We are I'm gonna skip you, Steven.
I'm just going to keep my hand up because XCOM. That's scary.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah,
We're all
okay.
excited.
Fair enough. It's over. Alucard, I'm gonna chop your head after the show because you've got a big fat GameSpot logo on OP Noob's channel just playing. It's okay, we'll talk, Alucard. We'll talk. Moving forward, Democracy 3 Africa. Democracy 3 Africa, and right after this one we'll do another L giveaway because I think we skipped one and we've got more people entering the channel. Thank you for joining us. Democracy 3 Africa deserves an introduction. So Caitlin, who we cannot see anymore, we'd love to see you, Caitlin. We cannot see you, but go ahead with the introduction.
Developed by Positech Games, Democracy 3 Africa is the new standalone reimagining of the hit political strategy game Democracy 3. Set entirely in countries on the continent of Africa, D3A puts you in charge of these countries and challenges you to stay in power whilst fixing each country's problems, improving the quality of the lives of your electorate, and steering them towards greater prosperity.
I mean, I work in this shit. Like, the last thing I want to do is play games about it, personally. I see Angela Merkel. I actually met Angela Merkel, and it didn't like... It wasn't like, whoa, I just met Angela Merkel. No, it was like, fuck, when did I get out of this shit? So I don't know if I can be excited about a game like that, but probably a lot of strategy, I don't know. Has anybody played the first two in the series outside of Steven? No. Okay, then Steven, go ahead. This is your moment of glory.
Not really a moment of glory. I mean, my family, we're very political back east, but the fact of the matter is, politics don't make for a very good game. It's boring, it's slow, it's dull, it's freaking terrible.
It's treacherous, I tell you.
But we live in a time where we might be saying President Trump, so this might be the only time we can actually have a democracy. So
you do not like President Trump.
The fact is, democracy is actually a fun game if you like micromanaging. Since you don't like XCOM, and that means you're a terrible gamer, you probably wouldn't like this one anyway. But the truth of the matter is, democracy is a niche game, but we've been really surprised by niche games. Hell, people liked Football Manager.
Yeah, you never know.
I don't know why.
You never know. Everybody press pause, especially because we're screwing over Duskers. And Alucardo, vamos a hacer el giveaway. Well, actually, Alucard, you're completely...
time.
Hey! He's alive! He has no last name. He has no face. El giveaway, muchísimas gracias.
Do your thing, Stylo.
Do your thing, Stylo. Vámonos. We got 20 people in the channel. It's a new record for the night. Thank you, people, for joining us. We are the OPN team, opnoobs.com, the overpowered noobs. We do a whole bunch of stuff, including with game reviews, mostly dev talks, and now it seems competitive gaming. So, aren't we the hot stuff?
No.
Steven is tired.
No, not at all, actually. This is the only fun I had for the week, so I spent all night energy here.
Who's the lucky winner?
Oh, reroll.
Vámonos. Reroll. Huh? How long is this take? Who?
Oh, back-to-back Grumbles?
I see, Mash Grumbles. Give it to Mash Grumbles. He's been a good guy, and I think it's one of the first time we see him in the channel. So, Mash Grumbles, you get all the games, you take all the games, you enjoy it. Give him to the Lucky Miss, and we are going to move to the very next game. Everybody press play, and I believe we are looking at Duskers. Caitlin? No, Caitlin?
Developed by Misfits Attic. In Duskers, you pilot drones into derelict spaceships to find the means to survive and piece together how the universe became a giant graveyard. You are a drone operator, surrounded by the old gritty tech that acts as only your eyes and ears to the outside world. What you hear comes through a remote microphone. What you see is how each drone sees the world.
Undertale in space. Anybody? Best game of the year is gonna fight against what's the MMO we're talking about? It's gonna compete. I cannot wait when you Star Citizen versus that, and I think we've got to move on. I think we've got to move on to something bigger. It's called Riot Civil Unrest. It's a combination of Democracy 3 and Duskers, actually. Caitlin.
It's literally the Trump presidency.
Developed by Leonard Menciari by Ivy Productions. As civil crisis deepens and inequality tears the very fabric of society, the discontentment of the masses manifests itself in violent public disturbances and civil disorder. Play as the police or the angry horde as riot. Civil unrest places you in some of the world's most fractious disputes. What?
Go ahead.
Wow, I get to be a rioter? That sounds great. Or I could be a police, but I don't know. That sounds kind of cool.
Actually, gotta tell you, there's something special about this indie game.
Yeah.
It's not, at first it looks crappy, but then you start looking into the trailer, I think there's something cool about this. I wish Paris was on cam. All our webcams are messed up. Sorry about that. I see the layout. It's completely messed up. That's okay. Let's move on to the next game. And the next game is, you can blame Microsoft. Inversus. Caitlin, right over at you.
Developed by Hypersect. Inversus is a mind-bending action strategy game for 1 to 4 friends. Shoot tiles to flip their color and attempt to block, trap, and close in on the enemy. With every action changing the play space, each round evolves into a unique battlefield.
Okay, at least I think Paris is coming back.
Did the whole call drop?
Yeah, I think you're coming back to some extent. Give it time. The camera is loading. The webcams are kind of coming back into place. We'll figure stuff out. Anyways, we keep rolling with it, and this looks surprisingly basic to make into the hot list.
You know what it looks
basic.
like?
It looks cool.
Has
Yeah,
anybody
it
ever
like
played the
it.
board game Othello?
Yes.
Yes.
It looks like Othello.
This looks like one of those games you could play for like short stretches, but they would be really fun, especially if you had someone that was like at your level.
Or
Because this looks like it would
browser-based
be
game.
maddening, but this does look pretty fun to me.
Yeah, Ben, you second that?
Yeah, I'm just watching this. This looks pretty enjoyable. Maybe not a ton of playtime to it, but it seems like something you could play for a little bit.
All right, and I think this may be our very last section. 2D shooters and action games. So we're going to get into some retro stuff, probably. Maybe not. Okay, then let's just get started with the first game called Dead Stars. Dead Stars, Caitlin, right over at you.
Developed by Armature Studios, Dead Star is the top-down twin-stick 10v10 strategic multiplayer space shooter you never knew you always wanted. Build the perfect ship for the type of game you want to play. Hang back and upgrade your defenses, or go out there and blast your way through your enemies.
We lost Steven.
Bye, Steven.
Oh no.
No. This one looks actually kind of spacey cool. Very nicely polished.
More space games.
One more space game for the heck of it. But yeah, at least it looks nice. It's procedural battlefield, I see. I don't know. I don't have anything to say about this, honestly. Please, somebody come to the rescue and give me some comments. It looks pretty. It looks very pretty, but
It does look pretty. I like the colors, definitely. Enjoyable palette. We saw another game, I think, in the last show that had like similar neon-y colors in space.
But that's the thing. Go ahead.
These are starting to like merge together in my brain because like the last couple shows we've done, I feel like at least once per show we get a game that looks like this. So they're all kind of starting to look the same to me.
It's kind of sad that
Yeah.
and if you're gonna compare genres, that aspect, there's the space games like that, and then there's the manga like / kiddie porn visual novels type of stuff. Well, I mean, it's true.
How
Like they
did
come.
I come back?
Tell us what you really
think
think.
you came back to
Just
kiddie
go
porn.
ahead and tell.
Fred, you're now on every watch list known to man. How
I'm
is
It's
so
exactly
sorry.
what it
doing
looks
kill
like.
porn?
French in me. I'm letting
Red
go.
flag.
Alright, the next game moving on is called Headlander. No more kiddie porn. We are moving to Headlander.
Aw, damn it.
Caitlin, right over at you. This looks good.
Developed by Double Fine, Headlander is a retro futuristic side-scrolling action-adventure game set in a world inspired by 70s science fiction. It is a
Yeah.
world of Automaton, a utopia game gone wrong in which all of the humanity have been transferred their minds into robotic imposter bodies and are ruled by a deranged computer.
This is cool. This is very, very cool. It looks very explosive, high on gameplay, very polished. This is the type of indie stuff that always makes me think I should be playing indie. Paris.
Oh yeah, it looks like a really messed up and colorful sort of high. I enjoyed this. Just for the weird factor.
I like how the Skype call is breaking away a little bit
dying.
more.
Horrible death.
It's suffering, and people are still in the chat. It must be a giveaway.
They love
Eli,
the train wreck. Is why.
I just wanted to say real quick, does Double Fine actually count as indie? Because you called it indie, but I mean they're a pretty
Double
big
Fine's
studio.
pretty big.
Exactly.
And they've had some definite issues recently in terms of rep, but
that was
their
Double
games
Fine.
tend to be good.
Yes.
That was Double Fine.
I don't think we
That
can call
explains it.
Double Fine an indie at this point.
No,
I
not
think-
anymore. I think it just looks indie. That's why, yeah, it's completely ignorant on my behalf.
And I'm sorry, but Tim Schafer just has a lot of trouble keeping to deadlines and promises and
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
So,
But it's usually worth it. I mean,
yeah. I just want
That was
Brutal
Katana.
Legend 2. Just bring me that, and I'll be happy.
That was Katana 0, by the way. So yep, we'll move on.
Yeah.
Sorry, Katana, we kind of skipped you, but it looked interesting. Sorry, Steven. God, I miss you, Steven. Moving on to the very next game. I think, guys, we're gonna do 4 more games, and then we're gonna call it because unfortunately Skype really shitting on us right now. And now, hey, just shapes and beats, Caitlin.
Developed by Berserk Studios, Just Shapes and Beats is a game about shapes and about beats. Yeah, we're clever like that.
Now, I'm sorry to say, but this guy's video is exactly the opposite of what I was criticizing earlier. Like, he does not give a rat's ass.
Wait.
And I'm sorry.
This dude is awesome sauce.
It has a lot. It has a much better impact on me. Like, I feel like this guy is actually a gamer.
Somebody that just doesn't give a shit and understands the joke.
They don't let me into the Apple Store.
This is Latch. He's the dude that actually made this giveaway too.
Oh, he made. Oh man, I think just for you, Lash, we've got to launch the giveaway tool. Everybody, be ready for El Giveaway, yo. We're gonna give a giveaway, yo. Stylo, it's all yours. Launch it, hit it. I would let you do it, Stylo, but you're completely disappeared. And so is Caitlin, and so is Steven. I'm gonna try and fix the webcam. I'm gonna give it one last try. I'm gonna reinvite you during the giveaway, yo.
I'm here. I don't know what your problem is.
Can you guys see Steven? Nah, nobody can see you. Oh,
Yes,
no.
I'm actually doing everybody a favor by not being seen. So, you know.
No, I'm
There's that
saying.
Argument there.
Caitlin, I would like to. I'm gonna try you, Caitlin. I'm gonna disconnect you and try you back.
Okay.
What? He won it. He deserves it. And we've got Caitlin back. I cannot see Steven.
Yay!
I cannot see Steven, but wait, I'm gonna reinvite you. Steven, I'm gonna reinvite you. I think we're coming back.
Right.
I think we're making a fat comeback.
And now Paris looks like he's gone.
Nah, I still have him. He's just very, very blurry.
So
Steven is reloading.
It's the best I've ever looked. Come on.
It is the best you've ever looked. All right, let's move on to the next.
Wait, Fred, quick question. Can I curse on this?
Are you
on this
here?
Stream?
Yes,
Yeah.
curse away. I'm fed up.
Fuck you, Chris Kellogg.
All right. What's done is done. He said it. He did it. He said fuck you to the vice president of OPN Noobs, and it is official. Yes. Go, Steven. We're moving forward to the next trailer, and the next trailer is, thank you, by the way, man from Just Shapes and Beat, who basically did the anti-PewDiePie or whatever that crap is called. Yeah. Moving forward, Star Mazers, the official trailer. Everybody press play. Star Mazer, Caitlin, right over at you.
Developed by Imago Softworks, 130 years after the Great War, the galaxy is a goddamn mess. The core systems are scorched and broken, and the world beyond the Baratha Divide, a vast and treacherous expanse of nothing, is an alien mystery. Brick is a man driven to unlock the secrets of his past and the strange mysteries that lie just beyond the divide.
See, I personally love it. And this is not just for indie, but also for AAA studios. Like, we're getting a lot of communication with these folks. I love it when you feel the gamer underneath the developer. And when you hear somebody describe this game as space is a goddamn mess, I don't know. I feel the personality. I don't know how much that game. Well, all right. Moving on to the next game. A little bit scattered. Mighty Number 9, Caitlin.
All right, developed by Concept and Indie Creates, Mighty Number 9 is a 2D side-scrolling action game that takes the best elements from 8 and 16-bit classics that you know and love from the creator of our beloved Mega Man and transforms them with modern tech, fresh mechanics, and fan input into something fresh and amazing.
Yeah? Anybody says yeah? Caitlin?
It could be cool.
AJ? AJ froze. I don't know if it's the camera or his interest in the game.
I got
Ben.
Yeah, I mean, made by the creator of Mega Man. I mean, anybody who played the old Mega Man games knows that people have been trying to chase what Mega Man did for years, and they've sucked at it. Mega Man was awesome. People still do speed runs competitively of Mega Man.
It's still coming out.
Yeah.
It's still coming out. So you're still making money off of that. Steven.
Oh, man. Where do I begin? So, first off, fuck Capcom.
Amen.
Well, that's a good start.
Agreed.
Thanks for ruining the relationship I've been trying to build over the past 3 months.
Yeah, you know what? I'll even go even further. Screw Konami while we're at it. The fact of the matter is,
Jesus.
Go for it.
The fact of the matter is, honestly, the fact that it took the developer and creator of Mega Man to leave the company and go to Kickstarter to make another Mega Man game, that speaks volumes about the industry, the AAA industry as a whole. Now, granted, the Kickstarter was mismanaged terribly, but the fact of the matter is, I think this might bring Mega Man back, and I really, really hope that it does.
Fair enough. Now, can you explain the Noct phenomenon, which is people are enjoying Noct, they enjoyed it in early access, now it's coming out, we have a review on it actually on the website, opnoobs.com, probably /review/Noct, I'm guessing. There's a lot to be said about this game that every time I look at the trailer, my first intent is to say, what? Apparently it's very popular, people are enjoying it. And anybody played Noct so far? Anything to say about Noct? Nothing? Wow, Steven's got nothing to say.
I mean, I can understand why it would be fun, but at the same time, it just, we've seen this before. I mean, Hotline Miami with Night Vision is what I'm getting from this feeling, from this.
Yeah. How many survival horror games are there going to be? Tell me why this one's different from every other one.
I don't see a difference.
Agree.
I like survival horror games.
I feel like
I've liked them too, but there's just a million of them now.
Too many. It's like World War II all over again.
We have officially finished this category. I feel like the cameras have stabilized. We have another 20 minutes to go, so we're not gonna stop here. We're gonna do another section, which is actually a short one, and see where that takes us. But before we do so, el Alucardo no tiene nombre, no tiene cara, but tiene muchos juegos. El giveaway.
Damn you, Fred.
You
Start
didn't
the
know.
giveaway style. God damn it.
Es muy guapito, las mujeres lo aman. Esa es la sensación de la OPN.
My roommates can hear you. They're like, he has a really good accent.
Thanks, yeah.
It's like the only time Fred makes sense is when he's in Colombia.
It is. Pues que te pasa, papito? That's my favorite.
Wait, what did I win even?
I recommend, outside of gaming, I recommend the Netflix series that are on Pablo Escobar right now. If you're not playing games and you want to watch a good series, I recommend Narcos. Freaking sensational show. It's about la cocaína. Are we done? Oh, Grung Smash. I'm sorry. Congratulations, Grung Smash. You did your thing. You got your game. Alucard, I'm hoping you're not ripping all these people off and you're actually sending the keys. Let's move on. Another... Damn, Double Fine...
He's totally not.
He's not. He's screwing you all over. Colombia style. And moving forward, Double Fine presents another game from Double Fines, and we are entering the very exciting ground this year, even though it's not much, and I think there's a debate to be had about that. Is it a PC genre? Do PC gamers enjoy this type of games? Fighting and beat 'em ups, gang beats from Double Fine. Everybody press play. Caitlin, right over at you.
Developed by Bone Loaf, Gang Beasts is a silly local multiplayer party game with surly, gelatinous characters, brutal melee fight sequences, and absolutely hazardous environments.
I like how everybody's coming out on the chat like, I didn't get my key. Congrats, Alucard. Head of communication. We'll fix you up in the aftermath. Go on tsethixgaming.com. It's our TeamSpeak channel. Thanks to Ethics Gaming coming to our channel, and we'll fix you up based on Alucard's flaws. Anybody excited about this Double Fine game? That looks very, very interesting.
Definitely looks like a fun game to like drink to.
Yeah.
I mean, loser has to do a shot, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's like drunken brawling.
Yeah, that looks like that could be fun.
You'd have to be pretty drunk.
When am I not? What?
Yeah, I'm sorry to say, Steven, I'm gonna let you speak, but I'm gonna let you speak by asking you a question. You say Double Fine can no longer be considered AAA, but damn, this is basic stuff.
No. Double Fine. The one thing that Double Fine does well, and the one thing that Tim Schafer does well, is they do marketing really well. He's built up a lot of goodwill with gamers, and he hasn't gotten to Peter Molyneux style fuckery yet, but he's really, really close. He has a reputation at this point of not delivering either on time or the exact thing they wanted to deliver in the first place. But I am still cautiously optimistic. Even though it's a simplistic looking game, Double Fine is really good when it comes to gameplay. But this looks like a perfect drinking game to me.
All right. Well, if we're gonna dissect anything tonight, I really hope we dissect this one, and I like to get a conversation on this because I feel like this is probably the most one of the most important releases of the year. Not necessarily for PC gaming, but for gaming as a whole. And it's Street Fighter V. Everybody press play. Caitlin.
Developed by Capcom, the legendary fighting franchise returns with Street Fighter V. Stunning visuals depict the next generation of world warriors in an unprecedented detail, while exciting and accessible battle mechanics deliver endless fighting fun that both beginners and veterans can enjoy.
Alright. So is this the Street... I'm not going to start with you, obviously,
I know
Steven.
you're not.
Yeah, no,
It's
just
okay.
the face you made. I'd like to start with somebody who's a little bit more optimistic about this game. Do we have somebody who thinks... And try and step outside of the PC universe. That is so unlike Fred to say, but try and step outside of the PC universe. What is the significance of this release for fighting games as a whole? No, you guys are all making a face like
well, I mean, for console
Benjamin.
game.
Yeah, AJ, go ahead, AJ.
I mean, for fighting games, the only ones that have been worth mentioning lately has been Mortal Kombat, and that seems to get more hype just because of the graphic fatalities that you have. But console-wise, there hasn't been much hype around any fighting games. I think just people are kind of done with the ones that are coming out, and someone's going to have to revolutionize the genre soon.
Yeah,
if
but hold
kind of
on.
to make a comeback.
Yeah, but hold on, because last year they hyped up Mortal Kombat X because Mortal Kombat has its niche, right? Like, it has its niche of followers. I don't know what they play, but there's, like, hardcore people who are in love with Mortal Kombat. Street Fighter is, like, 100 times Mortal Kombat when it comes to the community that follows it. I don't know where these people are exactly, and I've personally never became acquainted to any of them, but I know they're out there. I know they're out there.
I have a few friends who've been like really competitive fighting players, played in tournaments and such. I'm terrible at it, so I never really got into it.
But I feel like you represent the way you feel represents a lot like how most of us feel. It's such a tight niche and an impressive one.
But they're avid fans of it and they play it a lot, so they'll have their market. Last Street Fighter did very well, but fighting game fans, we can look at this. It looks great, but until it releases and you see the balance and you see how skill based it is, you can't predict it. I've seen fighting games come out that were hyped up, and then everybody ignores it because they just didn't make it balanced enough, and nobody plays it.
But AJ said something interesting. He basically talked about the lack of innovation in those games. And when you look at, you're the developer of Street Fighter. You're not Capcom. You're actually the brain behind the game. Well, actually, you're probably influenced quite some by Capcom. But, you really don't have that flexibility to innovate. Because if you do, you're taking a huge risk, aren't you? Caitlin.
I loved fighting games as a kid, and they were some of the first games I ever played with my family. We'd all sit on the couch and play them. But as a PC gamer, I quit playing fighting games when I quit the consoles. I don't see why I'd want to play them with a mouse and keyboard. I just kind of lost on me.
You can still use a controller on a computer.
Yeah, you can, but I'd have to go buy one.
Also, fighting gamers don't use controllers; they use game sticks.
Paris, you seem to have come back. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. If you guys can hear me, do I still sound like a robot?
Yeah, you sound great.
Okay. No, the thing with fighting games niche is like, okay, if you're playing like a party game, you're playing with your friends. Basically, you just run towards each other and mash buttons, and you have fun with it. Like, you beat up your friends, very enjoyable. But then, like, when you try to invest in fighting games, the type of gameplay that you're in for suddenly just shifts over to this whole like super pumped up rock paper scissors with psychological games and counters and different blocks and
Yeah,
combinations, and
but
it's a
that gets
muscle
fun.
memory. It's the haven of muscle memory, and it's very complex. But at the same time, like the
Pause.
thing with fighting in general is that you need to be able to balance things. Where okay, here like we have to have a person that's real has really high attack power, but all his attacks are at close range. And here's a person with low attack power, but he has a gun. But then like there's only so many combinations you can have it, especially on a 2D platform right now. And like none of the 3D fighting games have been successful so far in capturing an audience with like the same level of tactics and extremities.
So what's your evaluation as it pertains to Street Fighter? I mean, what you said is very, very true. And
Oh no,
like, so
no,
are
on
you
Street Fighter,
optimistic about
no,
Street
on Street
Fighter?
Fighter, on Street Fighter, they don't actually as long as they carry over most of the mechanics and the skills of the previous Street Fighter and just keep it within that skill level within that familiarity, it'll still it'll be put into the roster of like this list of fighting games that people will be competing over up in like the expos and the gatherings and everything.
It
So
looks, you got to, I think we've got to say, it looks freaking phenomenal. I think they did a fantastic job. I don't know, to be frank, I don't know what Street Fighter 4 looks like. I have not seen that game, any gameplay footage. But the animation, the way they integrate, we were just talking about that yesterday on TeamSpeak about how they're integrating cutscenes into gameplay more and more, and how developers kind of struggle doing that and yet keeping it fun. I feel like Street Fighter is hitting it like the nail on the head, whatever the expression is. It's that trailer to me looks fun, and I want to give him my 2 thumbs up. Steven?
So, Street Fighter V was partially developed by Dimps. Dimps also did Sonic Unleashed, which was the god awful Sonic game
God,
with
yeah.
Oh no,
Sonic.
we're done here. We're done.
Yeah, we
Okay.
We'll see you, AJ.
All I'm gonna say is this: Street Fighter is the Madden of fighting games. No matter what, there's gonna be the bro gamers that are gonna buy this game, whether it's good or not. It could be a steaming pile of shit, and they'll still buy it because they need to do Evo this year. So, the fact of the matter is, Capcom realizes that this is their cash cow. So, no matter what, it's gonna sell.
It's
I
not.
guarantee you.
Man, I grew up on Street Fighter. Like, I was 8 years
but
old.
that
I
was
was.
the
Wait,
good
let me
Street
finish.
Fighter. That was 2 and 3.
Let me finish. We're at Street Fighter 5. We're not on Assassin's Creed 27 here. I don't feel it's fair to say, they're like popping them out just to make money.
Alpha,
They're not.
Street Fighter Turbo,
This is a title
Turbo
that,
Advance, Turbo. There's been
Sure.
so many games.
but they're meeting their demand. I don't think that Street Fighter is a recipe to make money like so many other franchises out there. I think they're very, very careful to please the fanatics who play that game intensively to a competitive level. And I'm not a Street Fighter fan at all. I don't even think that Street Fighter belongs to the PC platform, but I have a lot of respect for it.
I have something to say.
Okay, Alucard.
Well, my angry roommate right now does.
If you don't mind, I apologize. I just want to get in on the discussion, simply because I've been playing Street Fighter since I was about 5 years old. I'm 32 now. Like I played Street Fighter 1 in the arcade when I was like 5 years old. This game paved the way for fighting games. Like people want to talk about Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat is the CFL, as I think Steve wanted to reference Madden, correct? Madden is a great game. I play that shit avidly. Street Fighter paved the way for what fighting games should be. The combo systems, the storylines, the characters that you grow to care about as long as I've played this game. Like I've gained friends and lost friends playing this game. Like this game is so real, and it's one of the greatest fighting games like ever.
I appreciate you so much. Steven is fired. You're hired. Like this.
Now,
is
I
so,
never said that I hated Street Fighter. I just hate the way that
He's got a
Capcom
point,
is
man.
taking it.
We cannot easily shit on Street Fighter for all that is brought to the scene, for all that is brought to the genre, for all that is brought to gaming. And I felt like over 20 years, and it's not small feat, they kept it an integral experience. And I think there's a lot to compliment about that. And I'm like I said, I am not a fan at all. I just think Capcom really kept it tight on that one. And you look at how the series evolved, and it just looks slick.
I anticipate that in about 5 years, Capcom is going to go the way of Konami, and they're going to not give a damn about gamers in general. They're just not.
I will tell you.
They're going to focus more on pachinko games than they are, because they make more money from the gambling in Japan than they make on the console games. I almost guarantee it.
I would say that Blizzard has a lot to learn from Capcom. Moving on. I think we're done. It's just good evolution of a series that was superbly successful. And Alucard, please bring your friend back. That was very insightful. The next game, everybody press play. Mother Russia Bleeds. Mother Russia Bleeds. Epic.
Developed by Le Cartel, Mother Russia Bleeds is an ultra-violent co-op brawler overflowing with an unmistakable style and truly unforgettable, brutal action for up to 4 players at once.
It doesn't look brutal.
It does not look...
It looks really...
It doesn't look brutal at all. It looks like anime. But anime can be brutal, so who knows?
This is our last game before the Tomb Raider giveaway, so I want to thank Eli for donating that again. This is Mother Russia Bleeds. Mother Russia is definitely bleeding, but the guy who's inflicting pain does not look so American. He does not look so Ronald Reagan-ish. Actually, he also looks kind of Russian. Is this something of the Hotline Miami type of... I wouldn't say from the studio, Devolver... God, the name escapes me. Devolver Digital. But this very much looks like from that same school of thought. Support us. MotherRussiaBleeds.com. Support him. Okay, everybody press pause. We are about to do the giveaway, the final giveaway. Eli, you've got the code. Alucardo, tienes el lanzamiento.
Awesome again.
And it's el giveaway, yo.
There you go.
Vámonos, cabrones.
Start it, Tyler.
Hi. Steven, you look at like you're upset. Then don't be upset.
No, I'm not upset in the least, to be honest with you. I'm getting bothered by the fact that more and more the developers from my childhood are feeling that they're getting more money out of gambling games in one country than supporting the gamers themselves. And that's where I feel that Capcom and Konami, two of the biggest names from my childhood, have gone away. Yep, Paris did it.
Paris? Black Pete?
Yeah.
Paris,
oh, what? Oh, awesome.
Oh.
Yeah.
We totally have this rigged.
So we're giving Paris Tomb Raider.
Oh, yeah. Paris deserves
We're giving everybody on this call games, but not the people in the chat.
No, well, hold on, guys. We invite literally everybody who comes on the channel. We invite you guys on the Skype call as well. We send an email. We put it on the Ethics Gaming forum. So you've been invited. Check the forums when we get on the show. Everybody is invited, not just in the chat, but also on the Skype call. Tune in. It's every Tuesday night, even though tonight is Thursday night. Come around every giveaway every 10 minutes. And... A lot of trailers and a lot of thoughts on those trailers who are probably unjustified and unfair. One of the things that's very worrisome is that the more we do this thing, the more we get developers on our YouTube channel saying, guys, you're totally factually wrong, it's the wrong trailer, this is not the right game.
We like to piss off the devs before we talk to them.
Pretty much, essentially. So this is how we do it. Thank you, Eli, for donating Tomb Raider, and we are going to close the show and we'll go for part 3 next week. We're going to close tonight's show with I think somewhat of a big budget game, Naruto Shippuden Ultimate.
I'm out.
We gotta finish it. Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 4. Everybody press play. Caitlin, it's all yours.
It's developed by CyberConnect Company Limited. The latest opus in the acclaimed Storm series is taking you on a colorful and breathtaking ride. Take advantage of the totally revamped battle system and prepare to dive into the most epic fights you've ever seen.
Eli definitely has an opinion on this one.
Okay, so I've played a few of the Naruto fighting games, and I kind of miss when they threw in a lot of storyline in the games. So I'm really hoping that they actually get back more into doing the story this time. But honestly, I'd just like to see if anybody would want to play the game, because they are a lot of fun once you get into them.
Yeah, Steven. Before Steven destroyed the relationships we don't have with the studio, Caitlin.
I actually did play the old Naruto games, and what I always loved about them were that the stages were three-dimensional. You could go as far back and front. They weren't just 2D. And for a fighting game back then, that was really cool. And I wonder if this one has that too. It was something I didn't see in other fighting games at the time.
Oh, it has it.
Cool.
Steven,
Let me rip it apart.
Let's finish. Yeah, let's finish this show on Steven.
Okay,
just on
so
Steven.
I'm not a big fan of Naruto. I'm really not. But the biggest surprise I've ever had as a gamer was the fact that I actually liked Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi. Naruto is not an anime. I would have preferred to see Monster. I would have preferred to see any other anime other than Naruto. But if there's one thing I can say about these games is that they lovingly take care of the source material. I may not like the anime, but the controls for these kind of games are actually really solid. And in fact, sometimes better than the traditional fighting games like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. I have always been a fan of the gimmick fighting where you've got the 3D stages and whatnot. I love Virtual Fighter. This is probably as close to Virtual Fighter in 2016 as you're probably going to get. I have nothing but good things to say. So.
Wow. Okay, yeah, I was expecting a lot worse. Well, folks, I think this is it for tonight. We've been going on for an hour and 40 minutes, about an hour and a half. So you guys will see us next Tuesday, which is actually not that far away, in a couple of days for the third, and I think we're going to do a four-part series, actually, because we still have 71 trailers to go for in 2016, so we are nowhere close to being done. You'll see us next Tuesday for, I guess, 40 trailers of what's coming up in 2016. I'm looking at the spreadsheet right now. We'll be covering the platformer and puzzle games, exploration and survival, which is an important one. A lot of up-and-coming stuff on survival, even somewhat too much, some would say. Adventure games, big one, obviously, and sports and racing. So, guys, thanks very, very much, everybody, for tuning in. We're opnoobs.com, the overpowered noobs. Check us out on opnoobs.com. Come and support us, read our reviews, check our stuff out, twitch.tv/opnoobsonline. We do a lot of dev talks. You've met with some of the finer crowd, maybe except for AJ Malardi. But we want to thank everybody. We want to do the jazz hands, and we want Stylo, most importantly, to get us off the air. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.